Okay, Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for this interview. We'll go straight into the situation as it is right now in the Gaza Strip. We seem to be moving away from the issue of the inadequacies of the humanitarian assistance to the safety of humanitarian assistance and the people receiving it. There have been major incidents over the past couple of weeks with people getting shot at or killed near food rationing centers. There have been two major incidents over the past two weeks. The Israeli army has denied one of them and has explained its position on the other one. Why are these? Obviously, the Israeli army is in control in these areas, but why are these people being shot at? And what are the guarantees for the safety of humanitarian assistance, particularly food?
So we need to understand the picture of what is happening. What is happening is that the system in which humanitarian aid was distributed in Gaza Strip was failing. It was failing because it was playing into the hands of Hamas. Hamas either looted some of the trucks, or Hamas took it for himself to replenish its own people, or he used it to sell it in the black market to those poor people. So instead of actually making sure that the people that need the humanitarian aid would get it, it was a tool used by Hamas to make sure that it stays in power. This is what we are trying to change, and the way that it is being changed is to make sure that it's actually the people that need the food would get the food. This is why we have those distribution centers. This is why people are being called to come to the distribution centers and get the aid. What happens is that this is frightening for Hamas. This is exactly what's happening. Hamas is frightened by this because he understands what is the meaning of this system. And we can see it also in his response to the Witkoff suggestion for a ceasefire, which Hamas rejected. One of the things that they said was, we must cancel this system. Why do they want to cancel this system? Is it because they are concerned about the Palestinian citizens? Not at all. They are concerned about their own power. Only last week we had an incident in which Gazans discovered a warehouse of Hamas filled with flour, and they raided this warehouse to take it for themselves. You know what Hamas did? He shot those people. He hid it from the people, and when they discovered, he shot them. Also here, though, in these incidents, as you said, at least in one incident, we are still looking into some of what happened, but it is clear to us that there is a policy by Hamas to shoot at these people, to intimidate those people, because Hamas wants it to fail. So everybody who wants successful humanitarian aid making its way to the people that need it, need to support a system that makes sure that it's not the terrorists, it's not this genocidal regime of Hamas who is enjoying this aid, but it is actually the people that need it.
So the position here is that Hamas might be instigating these incidents and shooting at its own people, obviously knowing that Israel might get the blame for shooting or intervening near food rationing centers.
You know, what I find amazing is that you asked it in a way as if, oh, could this happen? It happens since day one of this war. Hamas does not care about the people of Gaza. Hamas cares about its own people, which means the terrorists of this organization, and about its ideology, which calls for the destruction of Israel. This is what he wants to do. For him, Palestinians that are dying in Gaza is a good thing. This is what people need to understand. It's a good thing. Why? Israel gets the blame. Israel gets all of the criticism of everybody, but nobody is calling on Hamas to stop the war, for example. They're calling on Israel. We are not against stopping the war. We, again, as I said before, we accepted the proposal put forward by the mediator, Stephen Witkoff, for the end for a ceasefire and release of the hostages. Hamas again and again refuses to do so. Look, there is a real enemy in Gaza. It's hard to see this enemy because the images coming from Gaza are of those poor people that want to get food, which is fully understood. But the real enemy, the one that is hiding in schools, the one that is hiding in hospitals, the one that is shooting and continues shooting into Israel, even though they've been suffering a lot of defeats, is a real enemy. And it's the enemy not just of Israel. It is the enemy of the Palestinians themselves. It is the enemy of everybody that believes in the values that Israelis believe in and Europeans believe in. This is the same enemy. It's also the enemy of Cyprus. This is who we are fighting. We are not fighting the population of Gaza. We are fighting the terrorist organization who refuses to let go of its control of this place.
Obviously, on the ground, time is of the essence, and it seems that this system, or this new system that is being worked into, of food distribution, does not seem to be working adequately, and the population is suffering daily. What else can be done to actually improve this system? Also, given that the UN is accusing Israel or that they're squeezing them out of the equation, and instead they're taking over the food rationing.
As I said before, we believe that the system that was up until now, that the UN was managing, has failed, because it does not do what it does, what it's supposed to do. What it does, it becomes a tool in the hands of Hamas, and the UN is actually, it seems that the UN is more important for him is to make sure that Hamas stays in power than actually helping these people. How do I know this? Because we still have hundreds of truckloads waiting on the Palestinian side of the Kerem Shalom crossing in Gaza, waiting for the United Nations to pick it up and distribute it. But they take their time. I don't know why. You know, it's a situation which is very, very problematic. The easy thing is always to put the blame on Israel. But if you look at the bigger picture, it's not, we do not have any interest in having people being deprived of food. This is not what we are trying to do. What we want to make sure is that it's not being used by the terrorist organization in Gaza to keep control of the situation. And if we do this successfully, it brings about a better chance to end the war. Because if Hamas loses power, it's a goal of the war can be closer to an end. But if we let Hamas maintain this tool in its hands and use and abuse and weaponize this assistance for its own needs, then we're only extending the war and not getting it short.
Okay, and finally, the essence of the argument, and if you will, the public reaction also here in Cyprus, is the position that Israel is hindering food distribution and is starving people. This is the argument. And the UN has said yesterday that hindering access to food is a possible war crime. So this is the situation on the ground. What is the message here, particularly to the international community, but also, if you will, a public opinion that has taken this position?
We have an enemy, a serious, dangerous enemy. I would even call him a genocidal enemy. You know, I just want to remind people, on one day, Hamas massacred 1,200 people in Israel, one day only. And Hamas says, I want to do it again, and again, and again. So this is the goal of Hamas. All those people that go out on the street and chant, without understanding what they are chanting, from the river to the sea, are calling for the destruction of Israel, for the genocide of the Jews in Israel. This is the real genocide that is really happening, or is this is the desire of Hamas. There is no such policy, and there is no such interest on the Israel side. We are not there to implement any kind of a policy of this kind.
Will there ever be a goal, or is there ever a goal of forcing people, civilian population, out of Gaza?
It's not. And we need to be very clear about this. First of all, it's not a goal by forcing people out of Gaza. This is not a goal. There is a vision being put forward by President Trump, who says, look at Gaza, how it looks. It's not a place that humans can live at the moment, and I suggest we find another place temporary for those people. This means that only if you have people that want to live, and if you have countries that are willing to accept them, why should we prevent this if this is the case? I mean, do we want to lock those people in a place which is rather devastated? But these are key conditions. Only if people want, and only if there are countries that are willing to accept them. This is the right and the way to understand this vision of President Trump. No other way. We are not pushing by force people out of Gaza.
Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much.